As you have seen in my previous videos, we have shown you some beautiful places, and today in the heart of Dubai city we are going to a city which was the old city of Dubai. It is called Old Dubai, and you will see the beautiful structures of all the old buildings which have been here before 1970s and 40s and 50s. During those days, the building designs and the streets, everything was in this shape, and they just recreated and made them available to see for the people today. So let's get a view of that place.
The noise of traffic fades to a quiet hum in the labyrinthine lanes of this beautifully restored and artistically crafted heritage area formerly known as Bastakiyah Quarter. Located along the Dubai Creek, this district is a key heritage site with much of the original infrastructure preserved and intact. Its narrow walking lanes are flanked by sand-colored houses topped with wind towers.
Guys, as you can see this area, and you can see behind me, this structure is called a wind tower. So they used to make these kind of things just to get the wind in and out of the houses.
The traditional wind towers, constructed from stone, teak, gypsum, palm wood and sandalwood, represent only a small part of Al Fahidi's history. Each alley, twisting pathway and breezy tower tells a story of a life before the 7 Emirates were united. Today, there are about 50 buildings containing museums, craft shops, cultural exhibits, courtyard cafes, art galleries, traditional restaurants serving Emirati cuisine. The construction of Al Fahidi historical neighborhood dates back to the 1890s. In its prime, the locality was capable of 60 housing units, most of which were separated by narrow, winding lanes. The town of Bastakiyah was primarily built by the affluent Persian merchants drawn to Dubai by the rich trade opportunities and incentives offered by the government. The district was named after the southern Iranian town of Bastak. In the 1980s, half of the Al Fahidi historical neighborhood village was destroyed to make way for the development of a new office complex. The remaining houses were mostly used as warehouses or accommodation for foreign laborers. In 1989, the Dubai municipality directed that the remaining parts of Al Fahidi historical neighborhood must be demolished. Rainer Otter, a British architect, came to the area and made extensive renovation in the house where he was staying. Rainer started a campaign to preserve the area and wrote a letter to Prince Charles of the UK, who was scheduled to visit Dubai that year. On his arrival, Prince Charles asked to visit Al Fahidi historical neighborhood and explore the whole area with Rainer Otter. During his visit, the prince suggested that Al Fahidi historical neighborhood should be preserved and the demolition was cancelled. In 2005, a project was initiated by the Dubai municipality to restore the localities of old buildings and lanes. The quarter was built in the early 1900s by merchants from the Persian town of Bastakiyah, who settled in Dubai to take advantage of tax breaks granted by the Sheikh. Hidden within the restored maze, which is easily explored on an aimless wander, is a short section of the old city wall from 1800.
As you have noticed, the beautiful architecture, the beautiful structures here, along with these things, they have preserved a wall which was the city boundary long time ago. It was a sort of a safety for the city, a boundary wall which existed in those days, in 50s, in 40s, in 30s, long time ago, but still a piece of wall was safe and they preserved it in this shape. So as you can see, the wall behind me, this wall, it's an antique, it's a very old wall, and they tried to preserve it in this way so that they can have a piece of historical wall safe. Al-Bab. Bab actually is the word in Arabic for door. So the door designs, as you can see, the detailed beauty in these designs is truly amazing. It was totally handmade. There were no machines those days, no computerized artwork. It was completely made by hand. And this is actually a door exhibition which is called Al-Shindaga door exhibition. So these frames were not here before, and now they have made these frames just to do an exhibition regarding their historical heritage, the doors, the designs of the doors which they used to make, which they used in previous days, and still in some places people are still using these doors. For rooms, there were smaller doors like this, and for the main entrance, if there is a big house, they used to make doors like this. So this is a big door which is usually built in front of the house as a main entrance, and as you can see, there's a small door for the people to enter, and here this one is for knocking purposes. Anybody home? this a pipe type of thing. This is actually for drainage purposes. When there is rain, so the water get drained through this and doesn't get stuck on the roof of the houses.
Looking at the tall buildings and shimmering lights of Dubai city, you wouldn't want to miss the feeling of shopping in a true Arabian ambience. Next to Al Fahidi heritage site, Al Seef is a must visit to complete your journey through Old Dubai.
Guys, we are currently in a market which is beautifully decorated, and it's like you will feel in 19th century. I find myself like I'm in a 19th century old market, and the items are beautiful. What they're selling is the traditional Arabic items as well, and also the modern things.
It has been built on a waterside along the shore of Dubai Creek. The 1.8-kilometer tourist destination was developed in 2017. It consists of several spots for dining, shopping, and leisure with contemporary elements and nostalgic vibe, which lets you travel back to the mid-1900s. Al Seef can be divided into two sections, a heritage part featuring old architecture and the second section decked with contemporary structure. The old site has around 50 sand-color buildings, which seem to have been existed since 1900s. The most exciting part is that even the signage of well-known brands has themes reminding bygone days. Everything is constructed artistically in a faded and rusted look. However, the experience of walking through these lanes is fascinating in a unique way. In fact, if you are used to the luxurious and mesmerizing cityscape of Dubai, Al Seef lets you see the before and after of the city at once.